Alright, I was waiting for this day to come. So, we have Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5 HD Remix, or HD 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix, and Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue on the Xbox finally. If you didn't know, this was kind of a long time coming, and those button clicks were my remote turning the volume down on the TV. But yeah, 3 years after the remixes came out on PS3 and PS4, and then as you can see, I already checked this out before doing this video, and basically, what was it? What was I saying? 3 years after it came out on PS4, and I've just been waiting for this day for 3 years. In my opinion, these should have came out on PS4 back in 2017, when they were, or Xbox in 2017 when they came out on PS4 and everything. But better late than never, I guess. It really makes no sense to me why they didn't do it, considering I don't think there was an exclusivity contract stopping them at the time, considering 3 was being developed and launching on the Xbox at the same exact time that it was coming out on PS4, so I don't really understand it. And on top of that, these are HD versions of these games. The source code already existed, so I really don't understand why they couldn't have done this, or done these when they were developed at the same time for PS4. Although, Xbox owners are kind of lucky, since we have the latest, these are based on the latest versions released for PS4. So we have the latest patches and everything that fix the majority of the problems that were in the PS3 and PS4 ports. There's still a few things, like apparently Luke Sword's data fight is weird, and I think also sound effects and voice clips don't play randomly sometimes. But your mileage may vary on that. But yeah. So let me show you guys what is a part of this. It's exactly like the PS4 version, minus a press A to play thing, which Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 13, and Kingdom Hearts 3 also have those. I don't understand why these are part of the Xbox versions, but not the PS4 versions. And it just kind of wastes time and everything. Wastes more time than it should. So yeah, you see here, Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, the first game in the series, with its exclusive Final Mix content and everything, just like the PS4 edition. I was kind of expecting somewhere for it to say my username somewhere, like Kingdom Hearts 3 does, but it does on the collected game screen. So yeah, just so you guys know, theater mode is exactly like it is for the DLC for the PS4 version. If you didn't know, post-release of the PS4 edition of 1.5 and 2.5 in the middle of 2017, they released they released 2 pieces of DLC. One was theater mode for Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, because for some reason when they were putting together one Final Mix HD, they didn't think to put a theater mode in when they were making it for PS3. I legitimately don't understand, considering Reach and Memories had theater mode, 2.5 for both of the games involved. 2 Final Mix and BBS Final Mix have theater modes and everything. 3 has a theater mode. 2.8 for the 2 games in there have theater modes. I don't understand why this wasn't in there from the start. But yeah, and it's available to view without actually playing through the game, much like how the DLC makes makes it available to view the cutscenes in that and everything. So yeah, so if you want to view any of the cutscenes before playing Kingdom Hearts 1, you can, and it's right there for you. Unfortunately, that just doesn't take you back to the title screen. It has to load in the logos as well, which confuses the hell out of me, but okay. And yeah, and I believe these are X-enhanced, by the way. So we go back to the title screen for all of the games together. We got another one of those, which is annoying. Yeah, then we have Chain of Memories, which the Re stands for remake, if you didn't know. So, yeah. And these work exactly as they do on the PS4 and everything, you know. But yeah, every title screen uses this version of, I think, Dearly Beloved is what it's called. So yeah. Unlike Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, the theater mode is not available for Chain of Memories 2, BBS, Dream Drop Distance, or 0.2 at launch, or before you play them, because they weren't on the PS4 version, which I think makes sense. So you need to play the games to be able to unlock the cutscenes and everything. So, yeah. But the load times are at least good from what this is showing, which is nice. And I think I have these installed on my external hard drive rather than, you know, the Xbox One's hard drive itself. I'm gonna fix that. Yeah, but the next ones, just like the PS4 edition, 358 Days Over 2, it was made as a prequel to Final Mix. It was not intended to be played before 2. So please, if you are experiencing this series vanilla, if you have not experienced this series before, watch 358 Days Over 2 after playing 2. Okay? Watch that after doing 2. But since this is just showing off the menus and everything, I'm gonna just show you the menu. And something interesting for 358 Days Over 2 and Recoded, these are cutscene movies, they are not the full games. So yeah, they have the chapters available to pick from and watch. And yeah, as you can see, I already tested some of these cutscenes by watching them. I watched the first cutscene after this fully downloaded, and it shows if you've watched them or not. And after you watch certain cutscenes, it unlocks character profiles on the main menu screen. And I did watch the first day and part of Tears as well, just to see. I wanted to see if there was any temporal anti-aliasing attached. There is some, but it's not great. But yeah, and as soon as you watch any part of this, an extras menu will be unlocked for characters and Roxas's diary and everything. So, yeah. Which is, I believe, the same for Recoded. I've only watched one thing for Recoded, or, yeah, one cutscene for Recoded, so, yeah. Now we get to what I think is the best game in the series, 2 Final Mix, and everything, but, yeah. And it's exactly like it is on the PS4. Except for, obviously, the HUD elements for all of these games and everything. Which, I love this version of Dearly Beloved. I believe it's different from the others, but I'm not too sure. Yeah, as you can see, new game, no theater mode, load a game, back, and everything. So yeah, and Sora and Roxas sitting on top of, I think, the clock tower in Twilight Town, I think is where that is, eating sea salt ice cream. It might be my headphones, but for some reason the sound effects for those are coming in weird. Hold on. Okay, it was my headphones just giving me audio feedback. Because I have them around my ears. Or not ears, my neck. Playing at full audio. Okay, now Birth by Sleep Final Mix. Which, actually, there's something very interesting that they did. For this game, basically, they changed the save system in this game. It no longer saves just like the PSP, which it did on the PS3 and PS4. Or even the PS3, I think, had that save system as well. Which is where the PSP got it. Basically, it has a save system exactly like the other games, where it has 99 slots, and you save each character for that, I believe. So yeah, so when you play this game, make sure to save each character's data to a new save slot, as opposed to saving over the old save slot. You'll delete the save slot as a result, as far as I can tell. Unless if I'm not, unless if I'm mistaken. But yeah, so we get to back, and as a result of, in Birth by Sleep, you play as each individual character, which is 3 different characters for 3 different versions of the campaign, from their perspectives. And, you get different title screens if you go back, if you're playing one of the characters, and then go to the title screen again, which is very interesting. I found that out when I was playing the PS4 version. So yeah, now Recoded, which I think is still the most worthless part of this entire franchise. It's just not a good game, it's not a good story, it's just worthless. I'm sorry to any people who are apologists for Recoded or like Recoded in any way. It's true. So, yeah. So we have this, which, yeah, I did watch one of the chapters, and you see that I watched the first cutscene proper, and you do get a character's bio sort of thing. So, yeah. And then you get screen options as soon as you start this up, which is the same in 2.8, which I already did. So you can set the safe area of the screen and everything. Luckily, it already, I think, automatically adjusted to my TV. So I just saved it. There's credits for 1.5 and 2.5. Which you just click on and then you press B to go back, from what I've seen. There's a, and 2.5 as well. And there's a before you stream disclaimer as well for the music. And everything in the rights holders for the characters and whatever else is listed there. Just like on the PS4 edition. So, yeah. And then right there in the bottom right-hand corner, rather than saying something else, I forgot what it says on PS4, it says my username, which is going to be the same for you guys, saying your username and everything. So yeah, we gotta go back, to here, which, yeah, this is how I sort a lot of the games I intend to play or have played on this console. So here we go with HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. Yeah. So yeah, and I already went to this, as you can see. So first we get... Oh, should probably show the screen options. Exact same as, you know, the ones on a PS4. As you can see, my name is in the... Or my username is in the bottom left-hand corner. With each one of these. And everything. So yeah, you get Dream Drop Distance HD, which is a rework and remaster of 3D Dream Drop Distance. From the 3DS and everything. So, yeah. It was remade for the PS4. I'm curious to see how they reworked the touchpad controls from the PS4 controller for this game. It's just very interesting that they decided to do this. So, yeah. 2.8, in my opinion, is not worth it to buy right now if you are not a super fan of Kingdom Hearts, kind of like me. Wait until a price drop or a sale to get 2.8, especially if it doesn't come out physically, because it's not worth $60 in my opinion. It has far less content than 1.5 or 2.5 did on the PS3 individually, so yeah, it's just not worth it as much. 1.5 and 2.5, get it if you are willing to pay the $50 because and able to pay the $50 because the $50 is well worth it for 1.5 and 2.5. No matter which system, no matter how new the ports are. But it also depends on if you own it, if you have owned it before. But $110 for all this, please. Wait until a sale. And if you're very, very lukewarm on trying Kingdom Hearts, wait until all of these are on sale. I would not recommend just going into this blind unless you were really, really interested in going into it. So yeah. So we get 0.2, Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage, which is a sequel to Birth by Sleep, prologue to 3, and I'm pretty sure a piece of 3 that was chopped off and put on the 2.8 disc to fill out the content requirements. So, yeah, and as you can see, it's 60 frames on this title screen, which is nice, which I think it was already that on the PS4. But yeah, and I think you can play this in 60 frames on PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. I'm not sure though, I haven't tested it. Yeah, and there's a config menu just like every other game and everything. Yeah, you have a lot of different things. Not as much as not as much as 3, but it's basically the same as it was on the PS4. And then we get Key back cover, which is not a remastered cutscene movie, but a 1-hour new cutscene movie based on Key back or Unchained Key or Union Cross, that tells the tale of the foretellers in that game. So yeah, it's made in Unreal Engine 4 just like 0.2 and 3, and looks pretty good. I think you can upgrade it to 60 frames. I'm not too sure though. But yeah, 60 frames definitely on this menu. But yeah. I don't know if the upgrade patch automatically upgrades 0.2 and keyback cover to 60, but menus have always been 60 in Kingdom Hearts, though, so I don't know. But yeah, and this does look great, this movie and everything. I kind of wish that they would update the shaders and everything to match Kingdom Hearts 3 better in 0.2 and this, but or at least 0.2. But yeah. Especially since they upgraded one of the cutscenes that was in 0.2 and 3 to look different in 3. So, I don't know. But yeah, so Basically, I would say if you're very unsure about getting these and you have never played a Kingdom Hearts game before, get 1.5 and 2.5. See how you like that. I would say that's still worth the $50 as a collection in and of itself. 2 alone makes it worth it. Basically, because 2 Final Mix is very, very good. See how you like 1.5 and 2.5 as a collection. It is very much worth the money still. I would say paying like somewhere between, I think like $12.50 per game is basically what that is. Because it has 6 games for $50. Yeah, I think that would be $12.50. 50 divided by 6, $12.50. Somewhere that's probably right. It's still worth the $50. If you were waiting for a physical edition, I'm sorry, I was too. But yeah, and if you like 1.5 and 2.5 enough, and you want to see where the story goes right before 3, get 2.8. Do not get 2.8 while it's $60. If you are very unsure and you want to get both of them at the same time, wait for a price drop, wait for a sale. That's basically all I can tell you. It was the same advice on the PS4. It does not have nearly the same amount of content as 1.5 and 2.5 had separately, and right next to 1.5 and 2.5, it's not even close to the same amount of content for the same price. Why Square chooses to price gouge the shit out of new ports, I don't understand. Or I don't know. They did the same shit with the Final Fantasy HD remasters that were released last year on Xbox One, Switch, and PC. The only ones that were priced, in my opinion, well enough were the ports of 7, 8, and 9. 10 and 10-2, I believe, was still 60, and 12 was still 50. It's either that or they were reversed in terms of that price. But 7, 8, and 9 were between $15 and $20 each. So, yeah, that's about as much as I would actually pay for older games I've never played before that were upgraded graphically to HD. Just me saying that. So, yeah, if you're lukewarm on the Kingdom Hearts experience, wait till a price drop for 2.8. I would not recommend it. And now let's get to the file sizes. Because 1.5 plus 2.5 is 57.2 gigabytes on at least the Xbox One X, but that's basically what it is, I think, on all consoles. And then... oh, this is on both. Oh, God. Shit, I may have to re-download it because it's gonna be weird. Okay, great. So basically, 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue is 28.7 gigabytes. This is a little bit... on the Xbox One, 2.8 is a little bit less in terms of file size than it is on the PS4. The reason for this being, as far as I know, the Xbox has better compression, I think, for files than the PS4 does. So it is it's a little bit better. The majority of games on both generally have lower file sizes, slightly lower file sizes on Xbox than PS4. Some games are lower on PS4 than Xbox One, but I have not seen any examples of that. I've just been told that by people who have seen it, apparently. I have personally not seen it, but... eh. And 1.5 plus 2.5 is 57.2 gigabytes. This is because, like I said, they added in the DLC that was theater mode for for one Final Mix, and the extra cutscene that was made for 358 Days Over 2 into the source codes of the games. Now, if they left theater mode to just being, DLC, like it was on PS4, they could have still put this on a Blu-ray disc because it would just be only slightly more, I think, or around the same amount of space as the PS4 version with the extra cutscene from Days on it, or as a part of it, and everything. But yeah, and the theater mode for One Final Mix is around 10 gigabytes on the PS4. And if you download it to your hard drive. And it's definitely is worth it to have those. I would think that they would have left theater mode for One Final Mix to being free DLC on Xbox, just like it was PS4. Blu-ray discs only hold about 50 gigabytes worth of data. Luckily for next generation, they're going to have Ultra or 4K Blu-ray discs for games and everything. In fact, I think only 2 games this entire generation, unless if there's a few more, have only gone above 50 gigabytes. Most games are like 30 to 40 gigabytes at most. Unless they're X enhanced or PS4 Pro enhanced. There's stuff like that. So basically, when it comes to that, if they had left theater mode off of the files for 1.5 and 2.5, they would have had a lower than 50 gigabyte game that they could, a game collection that they could have put on a disc. But releasing it digitally, I guess, splits the middle in terms of these are on Xbox. One of them can't be on a physical Blu-ray disc. Maybe next generation, when they eventually re-release all of these games into one super HD HD collection of 1.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.8 on Xbox One or Xbox Series X and PS4 or PS5, we might be able to get them on one single 4K Blu-ray disc, because that would just add up to a little under 80 gigabytes. Or a little under 90 gigabytes of space taken up. So, yeah, and even then the file size for the download would be huge. But yeah, unless the disc can act as a key for them, and whatever else, but yeah, some discs do act like that, but yeah. So yeah, it's the latest patches, it's all the DLC from the PS4 version and everything put into the source codes. Future ports of these games are going to have this, so it's good that they got that out of the way now, showing us what is in the package and everything. Whether or not they're going to be available to watch from the start, I don't know, but yeah. So, I recommend 1.5 and 2.5. I recommend 3. 2.8, I would wait for a price drop. If Square does what I think they did for the Final Fantasy games, and then they also did for Kingdom Hearts 3, they'll price drop this in the next half a year. So if you can wait a good amount of time for, maybe not a good amount of time, but like a little while for 2.8 to price drop, I would honestly wait for it to price drop. It should be only $30 at most after 3 years of being out on the PS4. But yeah. And then 1.5 plus 2.5 is definitely worth the $50, but if you're still a little bit salty over how the ports are priced, I would wait for a price drop on 1.5 and 2.5 as well. Square Enix is really weird when it comes to this. They have an all-in-one digital collection on PS4 for $100, and they re-released 1.5 and 2.5 with 2.8 in a $50 thing, I think. I believe that was only $50. And now PS4 owners are getting another collection if they have not gotten 1.5, 2.5, 2.8, and 3 in another $50 collection, which collects all of those games into one package, which shows that they sold extremely well. But I don't understand why Square is doing this to Xbox owners. It really doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you still have a kind of relatively low install base on the Xbox for Square Enix games, or just Japanese games in general. Like, I'm not going to say no one buys Japanese games. I do, on the Xbox, but, like, you have a relatively lower install base of people who are willing to buy Japanese games, or Japanese-developed games, on Xbox, compared to people who are willing to buy Western-developed games. So, why do you not price these things effectively? Like, Final Fantasy games I have up here. 10 and 10 2 was about $50 to $60 when it launched. I waited a little while to get it when I was working during the summer last year. I got it physically for about the amount of money I felt it was okay to buy it at. The Zodiac Age for $12, like, I bought it when it was on, at the same time I bought 10 and 10 2, when it was lower priced than what it was. And then the 13 series, I bought this for less than $20. It is listed, I believe, for $20 at most digitally. Like, 13 is $20, 13.2 I believe is $15, and Lightning Returns I think is $15. Don't quote me there, but you can look up the prices. And then there's DLC for 13.2 and Lightning Returns. I bought those when they were on sale for like $10 each, digitally. And this is just all coming with physically and digitally. Disclaimers, by the way. Type 0 HD, I bought, I believe, when it was on sale at some point for like less than $20, maybe less than $15, I think it was. King's Tale is free, just if you want to buy it. But 15, I bought before the Royal Edition came out. I bought the digital edition that came with all the DLC, or at least most of it. And it was less than, I think, $30 when I bought it. I'm not too sure. It was 3-4 years ago when I bought it. Yeah. And then the Royal Edition stuff came out. That was an extra $20. So or $15. And at most I paid around between $40 and $50 for it, I want to say. Yeah. And 15 is the newest game in the series. So I cut it slack. HD ports of PS2 games, and in some cases, handheld games, I don't cut it enough. I don't cut as much slack. Like, if we're looking at this here, Kingdom Hearts, the first game, is almost 20 years old. It came out in 2002. It's almost 20 years old. Like, I don't understand why. These are not remakes. These are just remasters. Although, one did get Frankenstein back together. I think I said this earlier. With ripping out the source code, or not source code, but like code from the original PS2 release, and then using character models from games like Dream Drop Distance and everything, and recreating assets or upgrading assets to HD and everything to make sure it was in full 1080p, or even just 720 on the PS3, to be Frankensteined back together. The only thing that they added in the original PS3 release that stuck in the PS4 release was EXP0, I believe, for Proud Mode runs. So yeah, because it was the only thing that was in later games that was not in that game that they added in, other than Theater Mode, which they rectified with DLC and now in the source code of the game. So yeah, Square Enix really don't understand how to market shit either, because there's invisible marketing for this as well. There was the initial announcement at XO19, which got clipped and put on the Xbox YouTube channel in a separate segment. And then today, the Xbox YouTube channel released trailers for them, given to them by Square Enix, which the 1.5 and 2.5 trailer, I believe, is just a repurposed version of the PS4 release trailer from back in 2016. Just at a higher resolution and everything. And Yeah. And looking better, in my opinion. But yeah, because I think they used newer version of the footage or a higher resolution or something like that. I'm not too sure. But yeah, and the 2.8 trailer is literally just the cinematic from 0.2 that plays before you get to the title menu or title screen. Either that or after you press play for a new game and everything. So what was I saying? There's basically invisible marketing for this from Square Enix themselves and everything. The HD remasters of the Final Fantasy games, at the very least, had a good amount of hype behind them, I feel, for remastered ports of these games, or of those games. The Kingdom Hearts games have really had no marketing on Xbox outside of an initial announcement and then the new trailers and everything, and the Kingdom Hearts Twitter account putting out an announcement today. Shadow dropping these and then doing that kind of invisible marketing, I think, really let down these things. Maybe Square was trying to avoid a little bit of backlash initially from people who wanted a physical edition of 1.5 and 2.5. I don't know. It's really, really odd that they made the moves that they did. I don't understand what the thought process was behind this, and I think it could have easily been a lot better. Yeah, like just an announcement trailer like a week or two ago would have been fine. It would have been great. But they chose not to do that, and I don't understand. Then we get the leaks from the Australian Xbox site that someone found for these, and that was the littlest, barest amount of heads up that we were getting. And then the prices. The prices for one of them I feel is okay. The prices for the other one I don't think is okay. And then you also have the Remind DLC coming out for $3 on the Xbox a month after the PS4 release. No official word has been given on why that is. People are speculating an exclusivity contract for Time DLC, which I think Time DLC is cancer. I really think it does. I don't care for it on any platform, and it shouldn't be a thing. Timed releases of games themselves, base games, I'm okay with, because that's a thing that's been in the industry for a while. Timed DLC is stupid, and I don't understand why companies do that. I understand the console companies will give the game developing companies or publishers more money if they do that, but if we're talking DLC, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's stupid. So, yeah. But otherwise, if you want to play these games and you have an Xbox, you don't have a PS4, and you have never played the Kingdom Hearts series before, you now have access to it. Wait for a price drop on 2.8, but 1.5 and 2.5, knock yourself out, have a blast. There's good times to be had with these games, and they are still good. I would say most of them are still good in one way or another, even though some of the games frustrate me to no end, but that's a discussion for another time. But yeah, so there's really not much else to say, so hope that you guys found this informative, entertaining, thought-provoking, whatever. So, yeah, and I'm saying all this shit as a Kingdom Hearts fan. I love Kingdom Hearts as a series. Kingdom Hearts 2 is definitely one of, if not my favorite game of all time. It's definitely in the top 5. Which is saying something considering I played it way later than I originally intended to. Because I saw a trailer for Kingdom Hearts back in 2006 when I was 10 years old. I think it was the one for 2. And I said, that looks cool. And then I immediately forgot about it because I didn't have a PS2 and I didn't know it was exactly... I think I knew it was called Kingdom Hearts. I just didn't remember it after seeing that trailer on a TV. So, yeah. But for a game to stand up 15 years later, as well as Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix does, I think that's a major accomplishment. So much so that 3 only recently became a close second. The base game needs very much a lot of improvements, but Remind really makes it a lot better. And if you're waiting for the Remind DLC, get it. Maybe wait for a price drop if you're thinking the $30 price tag is too much for the amount of DLC you're given, but if you're waiting for the Remind DLC for 3 and you love Kingdom Hearts, get it. It's basically the same kind of advice I give for 2.8, but yeah. I think 3 is worth the base price. Remind should be like $5 less, I would say, for just the DLC. And the concert video, I would say, also needs to be $5 less. I think the concert DLC should have been separate from it and priced at like $5 to $10, but whatever. But it's just that. So yeah, if you've been waiting, knock yourself out, have a good time, and yeah. So really not much else to say. Links in the description, all my shit, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you guys in the next one.